Don in London, hello. April the 14th, I had to think about that. April the 14th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. And end of bank holiday weekend, now Tuesday, 9:30 in the morning. The world has started to turn again in terms of commercial and industry, or as well as it can do in a credit crunch. But we have to live with what we have. And the gift for me these days is I don't drink on a daily basis. My substance of addiction was alcohol, my behaviour, workaholic, relationshipaholic, gymaholic, any old ism. But now I seem to be in the ism of today, where I can find the truth of now. And the truth of now for me is recovery. What helps me most, and I would never have thought I'd say this 5 years ago, because I was very much a doubter about life and joining anything, is fellowship. And what is fellowship? It's a place where we feel okay, same size, able to express ourselves openly, honestly and willing to do so, to challenge the status quo, to challenge how we're doing on a daily basis. And my fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not mine as such, I just go to it. And I never speak for it. It doesn't have any speakers, as it were, who actually put out a message about this is alcoholics and this is what it will do for you. Because it can't do that. It doesn't work that way. A fellowship is a bunch of people getting together and seeing how they can do something with a common aim. And in the preamble of the AA meetings, excuse me, this is what it says. Now, please remember, I don't speak for AA, I speak for myself and how AA has helped me. So this is the preamble I experience at every meeting. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that's it really. It's a desire to stop drinking on a daily basis and not to pick one up, and to try and make life work as best we can. So really what people do in fellowship is put the sobriety first so that the rest of life can work as best it can, given the nature of the circumstances in which we live and where we've got to. So we're never at the same starting point, except when we stop drinking and we try and find a way to make life work again. And it's horrible because we've been addicted, we've been driven by 1,000 forms of fear for quite a long time probably. We've used our ego and our brave face to try and make ourselves okay in the bigger picture of being with other people. But what I found was I was isolated, alone, excluded by my own habit, my own addiction to alcohol and to the other things which went with it. So these days I try and get a more open, honest and bigger picture of what life can be by being sober, being involved again, being included in society, family, community. So, why do I do these videos? Well, because it gives me a sense of purpose to share the message and to help others who maybe cannot get to AA or are still wondering what to do. And, AA is not the only way. I mean, it took a lot of medical support to keep me going a number of times when I actually overdid it and was facing extinction. And those times I don't forget. And why should I? I need reminding of where I came from and what I'm doing now. But the most important thing is keeping everything in this one day. I mean, the fellowship program is designed to work for one day. And if we tried to do this for a whole lifetime, the mountain would be so big to climb we would stop and start drinking, I guess, again. So whatever floats your boat, whether it's AA or some other form of medical professional support, rehab, going into a mental institution, as it often said, which are rehabs, then whatever works, work with it, rather than complain about it, or try and, I suppose, undermine our own recovery, or the recovery of other people. We need to find a way to keep sober, so that the rest of life can work, just on a daily basis. So here I am, and I use the books of AA or the literature of AA to help illustrate what's going on for me and what I may do. And one of my meetings last night was all about how to use prayer and meditation. And again, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, how would I use prayer and meditation in my life, I'd have said, go take a walk or take a flying jump at something. But these days I've understood that there is a better way to live, and a bit of meditation and a bit of focus on a daily basis to introduce good routines into my life, rather than relying on something to obliterate my outlook, is far superior and keeps me going, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I can only deal with what is now. So the Fellowship of AA has helped me do that. And good routines are about establishing a pattern of good living as best we can. I feel like I'm preaching, and I'm not trying to, but I think it's because I looked at a couple of anti-AA videos, and I think they need to be out there. I feel they ought to be out there to give a contrast so that people can make up their own minds. So this is not for me. It's not for me to persuade you one way or another. It's just to show by example how it's helping me. And the daily reflections, this book, does a daily reading around the 12 steps of AA. So there's a 12-step action program for individuals, and all these 12 steps can work in a day once we become familiar with what they are and how they work. So April is all about the 4th step, which is doing a fearless moral inventory of ourselves. It's almost like a self-appraisal of our good side and our bad side, and where are the resentments in our life which kept us drinking for such a long time. And once we've started drinking, how do we stop? That's a good question. I go to AA. It keeps me sober one day only. And it says here for April the 14th, the number one offender. Resentment is the number one offender. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else. From its stem all forms of spiritual disease, for we have been not only mentally and physically ill, we have been spiritually sick. As I look at myself practicing the 4th step, it is easy to gloss over the wrong that I have done, because I can easily see it as a question of getting even for a wrong done to me. If I continue to relive my old hurt, it is a resentment, and resentment bars the sunlight from my soul. If I continue to relive hurts and hates, I will hurt and hate myself. After years in the dark of resentments, I have found the sunlight. I must let go of resentment. I cannot afford them. And I could have resentments about lots of things. I could say my family wasn't right for me, my career wasn't right for me. But do you know what? I was doing the best I could with what I knew at the time. And it wasn't always happy, but there were good times in there as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. We don't have to, I suppose, we don't have to trash the past. What we need to do is cherish those bits which worked for us, and find out why we resented some things and what kept us resenting to the point of abstraction and frustration and then resentment, because resentment will make us angry and we're looking to blame. So these days I'm not looking to blame at all, and life is as it is, as it can be. And in As God Sees It, which is, I'm just doing these linearly, it says here, only God is unchanging. Change is the characteristic of all growth, and it is, change is the characteristic of all growth. From drinking to sobriety, from dishonesty to honesty, from conflict to serenity, from hate to love, from childish dependence to adult responsibility. All this and infinitely more represent change for the better. Such changes are accomplished by a belief in and a practice of sound principles. Here we must needs discard bad or ineffective principles in favour of good ones that work. Even good principles can sometimes be displaced by the discovery of still better ones. And it says here, only God is unchanging. Only He has the truth there is. And maybe what we look for is the truth in each day. And for me, God is love, God is truth. God works through people, and it's an asset that anybody can have as they choose to understand some sort of higher power to make us calibrate our day. So when we say the serenity prayer, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We just get that opportunity in one day.